You are listening to Palushi Performance Podcast, and here is your host, Ray Palushi.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the new episode. Thank you so much for finding the time, for making time, for being here with me today. I'm Ray and I'm your host, and let's go straight to today's topic. Today we'll talk about life. Today we'll talk about something more than just life. Something that maybe can be eye-opening for some people. We're going to call this episode Game, or The Games, or just games, because I truly believe that how sad this is, it's a different discussion, but I see life as a game. And not because I want to, but because I have to. Life is just like a game. First, you have to learn the rules of the game and then play it better than anyone else. Albert Einstein. If he have said that many, many years ago, one of the most genius people throughout the time, there's something in here, correct? And if other people, like me and you have mentioned this just on daily basis, maybe there's something more inside that. How come some people believe that the world is rounded and some people believe that the world is flat? Some people believe that Bitcoin can be the future, and some people believe that the government and Illuminati, or whatever you want to call it, are in control of everything and they've thrown the COVID into people, etc., right? Now, we're not here to find out how the world is. We're not here to find out who does what. We're not here to find out the little details of the whole world. Because I don't have the answers, and I don't think anybody even have the answers of all of those. I think those are just some conspiracy theories that what people believe it could be, okay? And believe it's a huge component in all that, right? I am Christian Orthodox, and I believe in Jesus Christ. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. It's up to you. Have I seen Jesus? Or anybody that I know have seen Jesus? No. But I believe and I follow. So a lot of people do believe things and they follow. Now, one of my beliefs is that life is like a game. I'm not here to tell you what or how or why. If I am a Christian Orthodox and I'm a believer in Christianity, why is this like that? And maybe there are Christians out there that don't think like me. But I'm just here to tell you guys that it doesn't matter what I believe or what you believe. It doesn't matter what other people think. There's stuff in this world that goes on in our daily basis. Now, I think, I don't want to say believe because then you won't take me serious, because you'll be like, well, you believe and I don't believe that, and I'm not going to listen to your podcast. I want you guys to listen because I think that there's some great stuff in this episode that we can all learn. Maybe you can share some things with me on the comments and I can learn from you. But the moment that you open your eyes, I feel like you have just turned on your PlayStation, your Xbox, your Nintendo Switch, whatever game it is. And the moment that you leave your house, you have just started playing the game. You just entered into the game. And this game is called life. People put different masks. People lie. People manipulate. People hurt others. People use others to gain something for their own benefits. People will do 1,000,001 things. Now, is it up to me to teach everybody how to behave or to tell them what's right, what is wrong? No. Are people weird in general and the world is weird in itself? I believe so. Is the world fair? Has the world been fair? Will it always be fair? Absolutely not. Why does this happen? I have no idea. And I really don't want to know, to be honest. What I want to know is how can I become the best version of myself and take control of everything that happens that affects me. Now, what do I mean by that? If you're in a traffic right now, you're listening to this, and you are just stuck in traffic and somebody behind you is pressing the horn so hard that you're like, what is going on with this guy? You can lose your mind and start arguing and do the same thing as he did. You can probably just get mad with yourself. Or you can just realize that this is just part of the game. Things just happen. Why should I lose control? And why should I act differently? Just because of the external factors of a person, a situation, or whatever else. If you're in the gym right now and somebody's just staring at you and you don't feel comfortable, just keep doing your workout. Don't pay attention, because if you don't give the energy, then that thing will gonna pass. And there's 1,000,001 examples that I can take right now that things just happen. Why it happens? I have no idea. Should people be negative? Should people not be fair to each other? Should people use each other? I don't think so. It doesn't matter what I think in this situation. The thing is that the world is not fair. People will do things that you won't like. Things will just happen. And the only thing that you must master is yourself. How can you control yourself in those situations? How should you react when things like this happen? And what should you do with yourself and with the situation? Now, if just because other people are evil and things is not fair, that doesn't mean that you have to be evil and not fair. Mark my words here. If we live in a weird world, doesn't mean that you have to be weird. If we live in a terrible world, doesn't mean you have to be a terrible person. There is an amazing, amazing book that has literally changed my life. There's a lot of books that are my top favorites, like top 5, top 10, but I cannot choose just one because different books have made a different impact on my life. But I like to have 3 books on my top shelf or on the top of my mind, let's say, that have had an amazing impact on my life. And those 3 books, I call them all the first book. So there's 3, but I call them number one. So one of those books is the book from Robert Greene, 48 Laws of Power. When he first created that book wasn't like that big that is right now, in the moment that I'm making this podcast. And that book has actually been banned from a lot of prisons in the United States because they don't want people in the prison to learn those laws and use it to the other people and create chaos. This book have strategies. This book have ideas. This book is just amazing. I would highly recommend everybody to read this book. This book may look evil. This book may be something that you may not like reading because it kind of have a different structure than other books. But I highly recommend for you to read it because this book will serve you as a tremendous eye-opener of how the games of life should be played. Now, this book, you can use it in 2 ways. You can use it in an evil way and start using against others, or you can use it as a defense by becoming self-aware if something happens to you, that you should be tremendously cautious and very, very sharp to know what is happening so you don't get scored, so people don't use you, so you know what defenses to use. This book, it's amazing. I mean, the first law that is one of the most famous laws because it's the first one, it's never outshine the master. And it shows a story how someone has outshined the master and got hurt from it even though like the intentions wasn't to outshine the master. And there's other stories. I mean, there's another story where somebody used that law and didn't outshine the master, but got what he wanted in the end. So used the law for his favor. So you must read this book because it will help you understand if somebody's playing one of these laws to you. Now, maybe the person that is playing this law to you, it's not doing it on purpose, let's say, or let's say that it's not doing because they have read this book and are using this strategy against you. Human nature and human behavior are almost identical as it was 2,000 years ago. We still feel envy, we feel love, we feel jealousy, we feel happiness, we feel sad, we still cry. It's funny how just people have changed their clothes and cities looks different, but we're the same as what we were 2,000 years ago, if you look closely. If you read history books and books that will show the life of different emperors or people that have a huge influence in the world, you'll find those people even today, just dressed differently, maybe from another country, not the same country, and different clothes, but the behavior and the thoughts are almost identical. And that's why I wanted to talk about this, because sometimes we feel hurt. We're like, obviously I say that because I've experienced all those. I'm like, oh my God, look at that person. Like the moment that he or she needed me was so nice to me and now they're not. And then you start thinking about that person and then you start feeling hurt. And then it just affects you in such a negative way. You should be very aware of all things that are happening. The moment that you leave your house, the game has just started. So you have to be sharp. You have to make sure what's happening around you. You got to be very aware of everything and everybody. You got to be aware of your own emotions, thoughts, feelings. You got to be aware of how people are acting to you, what people are telling you, and what other people are using against you or plotting against you or manipulating you or helping you. Or you got to be aware of all those. Because if you're not, you're not left behind. You're going to be left behind and other people will outshine you. And it's not just how other people will be better than you because you may just not care about it. But I don't want you to be hurt. I don't want you to feel like you've been manipulated, you've been lied. And now you just don't trust anybody. And sometimes you don't even trust yourself because you feel like you're constantly losing against other people. But let me tell you the truth, and it sounds a bit harsh, but you will keep losing if you are not aware of those games. And again, I'm not telling you to be evil or use others. I'm just telling you to know what's happening. If you have the information in your hands, you may use it or you may not. Your knowledge will serve you in becoming the best version of yourself, in becoming a sharp person in general, and it will just help you achieve your goals. And we know that this podcast is about us. It's about you. It's about how we can become better. How can we learn new things? How can we achieve peak performance in everything? And how can we become the best version of ourselves? And trust me when I say that it will almost be impossible if you're not aware of the game that happens in our daily life. If you're not aware of other people's games. If you're not aware of the 48 laws of power and any laws of power that is in this world. It may sound a bit negative, and probably is, but I'm not a negative person. I hope that by now you know that I'm such a motivated guy that want to push you and myself to achieving everything we've ever dreamed of. We're in this boat together. And I hope that you're learning something from me, because if you are, then I've served a tremendous positive purpose in my life. And please share your thoughts and knowledge with me or connect with me, because I would love to get to know you. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to learn from you. Please, please, please. And as always, I appreciate all your likes, comments, and shares. And until the next episode, you guys stay blessed.